Hey there, and welcome to this episode of Mike Reviews Military Stuff. I am your host, Mike B, and today I will be giving my opinion and review / rating on the US P.A.S.G.T. M84 helmet. P.A.S.G.T. or P.A.S.G.T. as we just call it for the brevity of it. Stands for Personal Armored System Ground Troops, and this came out in 1984. A little bit before, actually, there were more trials and stuff. This video is not going to be really about the history of the P.A.S.G.T. helmet. It's going to be kind of my review and my rating and my opinion of it. Now, I'll start off by saying that I do like this piece of equipment, and I think it's really cool. It was used from 1984. I think the first time it was actually used was in 1983 in Grenada. I could be mistaken on that. It might have been used sooner, but I think that was the actual first time it was really used. And in that time, I don't know if this is a rumor or whatever, they had these big, like, bushy cut-up cloth covers on them to hide the shape because they look like the, Stahlhelm's typical shape. And so that was kind of an interesting thing. Anyway, so this is still being used today by some Navy personnel, like very rear echelon people, Air Force, Coast Guard. They'll use the P.A.S.G.T, but it's been phased out by the the ACH, the Advanced Combat Helmet, and then now, in more recent times, the Enhanced Combat Helmet. The Marine Corps used the same shell, but it was called the lightweight helmet. It's identical on the shell, but it's a few fractions of an ounce, a couple ounces lighter. You're really not able to tell unless you're in the manufacturing. And apparently that thing, I'll do a review on that as well someday. But that retains the same shape, so it's still being used in a sense today by the Marine Corps and the Navy. So, but these are also being used all over the world. The Afghan National Army used these. The Iraqi Army was using these. You name it, this thing is going to be popping up in the world. It's been cloned but several times. The French F2 is a clone of this using different materials, but the same exact shape and liner and all that stuff. But the shell itself is actually widely used around the world, and it inspired more modern countries, especially NATO countries, to go with this, drooped ear style of protection for their helmets. And it is made out of Kevlar, which is a really cool material that in the early 80s was not really widely used by the militaries and stuff. It was a new material, but they found it to be very effective. So that's kind of the brief overview on this. So now we'll get started with the ranking. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the aesthetics of the helmet. Now, again, all these are going to be my opinion. These aren't going to be stone cold facts, so you don't have to get upset. Take it with a grain of salt. This is just what I think about this piece of military equipment. Well, just like with everything in this series. So, aesthetic-wise, it's got that classic Stahlhelm look, right? From the front and the sides, you've got that profile, the very, very distinct, very recognizable profile. With a little visor on the front, but it's a little more rounded than a Stahlhelm, and then it comes up in the back, so it's easier to use while prone. Just aesthetically looking, it looks like a nice military combat helmet. And now, because many of the modern combat helmets look very similar to this, the ECH and the ACH, they are the shell just without a visor. It's the same exact shape and profile and everything. So, I think the ACH might go a little bit farther up in the back, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, so it's got that really recognizable, good, solid, yet kind of makes it look cool profile, and just the appearance of it, aesthetics. The paint is nice, it's non-reflective, it's got that nice texture on it, the little thing up. So I love the look of these things. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. So 8.5 out of 10 for the aesthetic factor. Is it aesthetically pleasing? Is it neat for, surplus nerds? Is it neat for people that don't really like this stuff? Recognizable, cool, 8.5 out of 10. Now, we're going to go with the practicality and usefulness, and kind of incorporate, because it's a piece of body armor, its effectiveness into this. So the practicality and usefulness, obviously military helmets have their place. They have their place in the battlefield and just for wearing around, because you bump your head on a lot of stuff in the military. So as far as military use, it's a very practical and useful item. Yes, it can be heavy and all that stuff, but for what it's intended for, it's really effective, right? So we're going to kind of rank this in this category. I tried to just make some categories that were semi-universal, so I could, if something has no comfort rating, like a piece of equipment or whatever, that'll kind of be taken out. And if it does, like this or something. So just bear with me on that. That's why I'm going with practicality, usefulness / effectiveness. which I could also lump into quality and durability, which is next. Ooh, spoiler, but I'm going to say the effectiveness is actually quite significant. The introduction of Kevlar allowed for 2 to 3 times the protection of steel at around, just a little bit more than the weight of the M1 helmet, which this replaced. So I have actually ballistically tested one of these personally, and I plan on doing another one soon, maybe this year. And it performed exceptionally well. It was, the only thing I didn't do is I didn't shoot it with a 357 Magnum or 44 Magnum, which I will plan on doing with the next ballistic test of this. It stopped every pistol round we fired at it. We fired 9x18 Makarov, 9x19, 45 ACP, and 7.62 by 25 Tokarev, which is usually, that's the definitive kind of thing. If the helmet will stop that in 10 yards, because helmets aren't designed to stop direct hits. They can, but they're designed to stop debris, fragments, some shrapnel and stuff like that from entering the skull or going through and hitting the person next to you if it does go through. They're not designed to stop rounds, so the fact that this does is actually pretty good. There have been people that have been shot in the U.S. military and around the world in this helmet, and it worked as it was supposed to, saving their life. I know several people personally who have had their lives saved by this and the ACH. So as far as practicality and usefulness / effectiveness, this is going to be an 8 out of 10 as well. It's very high on that because it was one of the most effective designs of its time, and that's why it's so widely replicated. So, quality, durability. The quality of these helmets, there have been some rumors over the years that some manufacturers had issues with quality control. Overall, the quality of these is going to be your U.S., decent quality. When the U.S. wants to and the U.S. tries, it can make some really good stuff. The quality of the M84 P.A.S.G.T is really good. This one's dated 1988 and it looks like it's brand new. And the one that we ballistic tested was from 1987 and it looked brand new as well and it performed like it was brand new. So the quality and the durability, I would say, that is going to be, an 8 out of 10. So, we'll go with an 8 out of 10 because the durability, it doesn't stop everything. And I know people who have experienced friends that have been hit in the helmet with a round from a long ways away and it did not work, it did not stop it, and they did lose their lives. So that's why it gets an 8 out of 10 and not higher, even though it is a great quality, it's made very well, and it's very durable. Also, the durability was a multi-hit situation in the ballistic test video that I made. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description. If not, just go to my ballistic test playlist and you can check out the P.A.S.G.T video. It took, I think, 4 or 5 hits from a 9mm in the same spot after we had shot it with a bunch of other stuff. So that's why it scores as high as it does for durability. So, next one's going to be comfort. And so this one, I've got an example here with a 6-color desert camo pattern because this is the one that was used. It was first widely used in Operation Desert Shield / Desert Storm, so that's why I had this on my display because it's pretty cool. It was all over the news and people got to see the United States' new helmet at that point. So for comfort, it's not good, it's not bad. The one complaint that I've personally experienced and heard from many people was the fact that on this liner system, you've got that ring on the top, and that ring is made of nylon, fairly rigid nylon. And combine that with the fairly rigid nylon straps, the webbing that holds it onto your head, it can dig in and cause irritation, especially when you're in the military and you have really short hair. So some people would try to alleviate that by taking foam, and then they started actually selling these foam things that looked like a donut, so they call them a donut pad, into the top, so you could put that on there so it would kind of even out the distribution, so all of the weight of the helmet wasn't riding from that particular location. Other than that, it's hot, it's whatever, and the double point chin strap, not really good because this thing will wobble and stuff and it moves around even if you've got it cranked down tight, but if you have it too tight, it becomes really uncomfortable. So for this, actually, that is one of the major drawbacks for the user experience of a P.A.S.G.T. That's why they went to the padding system now, which is A, more comfortable, B, it actually protects you more from shock than this does, because this doesn't really give you that much room from the shell, and that's why they went to that. So because of that, the comfort level is only going to get a 5 out of 10 for me. I'm very picky with helmets. It's something that's it's going to be hard for a lot of these helmets to score above a 5, so don't think this is a piece of crap just because I gave it a 5 on the comfort level. You can get a P.A.S.G.T. and you can gut this out, they sell conversion kits, Oregon Aero BLSS kits. One of the best kits you can buy. And it comes with, I think, a 3 or 4 point chin strap instead of a 2, but you're still retaining the P.A.S.G.T shell and all that stuff. So, next one is going to be Originality of Design. Obviously, you can see where they got the inspiration for this. Now, although it's an original design technically, and it was kind of revolutionary and stuff, and had the years of testing and all that stuff, it's not exactly original because of the fact that it's taken from the Stahlhelm. Once people started getting over the fact that, you know, even though the Stahlhelm became a symbol of Nazi Germany, it was an effective design, and everybody did their damnedest to stay away. I mean, look at the United Kingdom. They just recently went to the Virtus helmet, which is the ECH basically, that has this profile because they had such a bitter resentment towards the look of that helmet because of what it represented in the Second World War. Now, when people started getting over that, including Germany and France and everybody, and realized that this was a good design, they're like, okay. So, off on a tangent a little bit, but it's relevant because, and I drool like a big baby, you know. But it is not technically an original design. Now, where it's going to get an increase in score, we'll get to that shortly, is the design of the material itself. Now, again, Kevlar was invented in, I'm pretty sure in the 60s. It was a woman engineer from DuPont, or a chemist. I don't know if she was an engineer or chemist. I got to go do my research again. Anyway, and I think it was the late 60s or early 70s. So this was a fairly new material at the time, and especially this rigid style of Kevlar, because Kevlar is a soft material, unless you pack it down with resins and like this, and you compress the hell out of it, which was also really a unique and revolutionary design, which is very new. So that is going to bump the Originality of Design way the hell up to a 9 out of 10, because this was one of the first Kevlar issued helmets. I know that the Israelis had the Orlite material helmets in the 70s, but this is the first Kevlar one, which was, I think, very revolutionary. And this one's going to get a solid 9 out of 10 for Originality of Design because of the actual material and how the helmet's made. As far as the shape, that's why it doesn't get a 10, because it's technically not something original. But it doesn't really matter. It's just one thing I'm just being persnickety and, you know, nitpicky and pedantic about. So 9 out of 10 for that. Now, modern cost for a collector or somebody that's going to use this for a shit hit the fan bag, whatever you want to call it. You know, go LARPing, do your thing, airsoft, whatever. The modern cost is actually not terrible for the amount of ballistic protection this thing provides. There are people manufacturing NIJ-3A, which I think this is what these are rated for. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what they were supposed to be rated for. And they're selling these modern ones for like $300 and $400 for a brand new one, because they spread rumors around, in my opinion, that these are, you know, these will deteriorate and they're bullshit. They'll get surplus ones. Well, you can get a surplus P.A.S.G.T for between, if you get really lucky and know where to look, or, you know, whenever you get lucky on eBay, once in a while, you can get them for between $50 and $150. Larger sizes go for a little bit more, of course, but yeah, small, medium, large, you can get those for $50 to $150 used. They're a little bit more pricey, like unissued or brand new, but once in a while you can get lucky on those. So for the cost-benefit analysis of an affordable, decent option for ballistic protection, or just for like putting together an airsoft kit, milsim kit, or a reenacting kit, if you really want to, you know, do that stuff that's that recent, you know, First Gulf War, Panama, Grenada, all those things, invasion of Iraq, you know, OEF, early OEF and OIF days, these were being worn by all branches. The cost is going to be about a 7 out of 10 for what you get. There are other options that are a little bit more cheap and are just as good ballistically as this, which I'll also be doing reviews on. So that's why this gets a 7 out of 10, which is still a good score, but it's not, there are better values out there. And I don't know. It is a good value though. So 7 out of 10 for modern cost. So here's the final rankings right here, and we'll get to the wrap up of this video. If you enjoyed this, you agree, you disagree, who cares? Again, this is all my opinion, but throw it down in the comments. Let me know if you like this series, which so far you guys seem to be, and I'll keep making videos. I love military gear. I love, obviously, if you see my channel or anything, this is all I live for. I love the history behind it. I love the tangible, you know, I'm able to buy this and go around, and then I was able to shoot one to actually see what it was capable of stopping. Just learning about this and being able to have it and hold it and teach other people about it and kind of give my opinion on it is really fun. That's why I started my channel in the first place. That's why I'm obsessed with this stuff. So if you'd like to help support the channel so I can help, you know, I can be able to get more stuff like ammunition, more helmets and stuff to make videos on, do reviews on gear, military stuff, just anything that's relative to my channel. We do a lot of ballistic tests too, because I did spend, you know, $80 on that P.A.S.G.T that I shot up because it was incomplete. that was years ago, but I'm just saying these things cost money. But hey, with crowdfunding, like Patreon and becoming a channel member, it makes it totally easier for me to afford things that I wouldn't be able to afford just funding the channel out of pocket. So if you're interested in that, you can go to support me on Patreon. The link to that is in the description, or you can hit join below. Become a channel member. You get exclusive perks with both things. One mutual perk is that $5 a month or more on either platform. Gets you access to my Discord server, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of people on there. We have a lot of good talks. There's a lot of cool information. You see when people get new stuff. You see when I get new stuff, videos and stuff like that. And but yeah, that's that. So yeah, your support really does help. It's been really cool being able to expand the past couple years with crowdfunding. It's a reality, and I see why it makes the YouTube and kind of content creator world go round. So that would be great. If you can't support the channel financially, I totally get that. That's not a problem. You're just supporting me by, hey, as you know the drill, hitting that like button, subscribing if you haven't already, and sharing this video if you found it interesting and you kind of like it and you think it could start a cool discussion or maybe get somebody interested in this or answer a question somebody might have had that you know. So those are ways you can support me if you so choose. If not, I appreciate you watching. That's enough support anyway. So yeah. Let me know what you think. Again, what do you think about the P.A.S.G.T? I think it's a pretty cool piece of equipment. I think it's worthwhile. So, all right, I will stop rambling, and I will thank you one more time for watching. That's it. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Mike Reviews Military Stuff.